got their co-op Nintendo calendar today. Huh, me. Which is awesome, because maybe I can, you know, start to keep track on when I'm supposed to post videos, so that there's not a really long time between each one. Yeah. So since this is my first video in a really long time, I thought that it would be natural just to do a video about Sonic, and not just Sonic, but Sonic Lost World, saying it is the newest Sonic game out right now. And Sonic Lost World came out, you know, couple weeks ago, you know, and I just didn't have time to play it, because I had, like, school and marching band, and then exams came, and I was just like, I don't have time for video games or anime or anything that I really wanted to do other than study. I ended up playing Sonic Lost World when Christmas break started, and really enjoying it. It's a great game. It is a good game, and this is coming from a really long time Sonic fan who's played a lot of Sonic games. It's definitely a good game. There are a lot of haters out there, which is totally fine. It's not for everyone. But just to let you know, if there's anything bad I say about it, it's not that I'm bashing the game, it's just there are things in the game that I really don't prefer, but it was a really good game, and, I'll tell you, when I first played the first level, Windy Hill, I was kind of disappointed, but the disappointment was my fault, mostly. What happened was, this is actually my, fiance's copy of the game, and, you know, I wasn't gonna buy my own copy, I was just gonna borrow his, so I borrowed his. So that's the nice thing about having a significant other that plays video games, because then you guys can, like, share video games instead of having to, like, buy separate games all the time. But anyway, he had already played through a good portion of the game. So I took it, and I was just going to play the first level, and I played it, and, you know, there was, like, no tutorial, there were no, like, question bubbles, or there was no Omochow telling me what to do, so I was just, you know, I was running. What do you do in Sonic games? You run. So I was running. But what I didn't know is that you had to hold down a button to run. I did not know that. So what I ended up doing is I played the first 2 acts without running. Like, I jogged it, and I thought that that's how the gameplay was, and I was just like, this is ridiculous. He's going so slow. This doesn't feel like a Sonic game. And I was so disappointed, but I mean, I didn't know that I had to hold a button. That's usually not what you do in Sonic games. Like with a lot of Mario players who play more Mario, like more than I do, they're more used to holding down buttons to run, since that's what Mario does in some of his games. But like me, no, I wasn't used to this. I'm just used to running using the control stick, because it feels so much more natural, because that's how Sonic's always been, right? But then someone told me that I had to hold the button to run, and I felt really stupid. I felt really dumb, because if some of you guys follow me on Facebook and Twitter, you know that, like, my first impression, like, I posted it on Facebook and Twitter, and I was like, this is what I think about the game, it's so slow, and I don't understand what's going on, and wow, that was totally my fault, because I wasn't even pushing the right, but I was not even gaming right, okay? I was not even gaming right, I was failing. Obviously, when I figured out that you had to push a button, not only was I kind of just like, well, that's useless, why can't I just run? Like, I want to run. And I mean, they did say that the reason why, if you don't want to run, it's kind of for exploration, but exploration in Sonic levels is not my thing. If you want to have exploration in a Sonic game, you should bring back the adventure fields, like in Sonic Adventure DX. You know, that would be awesome. Adventure fields, I love them. But anyways, besides the point, so I redid the first level, actually running, and I liked it tons better. It did take me a while to get used to, like, the tubularness of the world, if you know what I mean, much like Mario Galaxy. But honestly, I kind of like it. It's not something that I'd want them to keep doing in Sonic games. Like, I kind of like that classic, normal Sonic style. But it's not bad. It's definitely good, and it looks really nice. And it works for Sonic. It really does. So I like that aspect of it. So the gameplay is really good. Besides the fact that you have to hold down a button to run, I'm not crazy about that. But then again, I got used to it after a while. Like, you just get used to holding it. And I believe it's the same way in the Wii U version, because honestly, the only one that I've spent time on is the 3DS version, because I don't have a Wii U yet, so I've only played Sonic Lost World a little bit. On my friend's Wii U, but I think you also have to hold a button on that too. So I'm not really digging that. Like, if we can get rid of that, that'd be great. As far as wisps go, like the power-ups go in this game, they're not bad. Like, I don't mind them, but it's just, I remember really liking them in Sonic Colors, and let's face it, like, Sonic Colors was a really, really good game for me, mostly because it came after games like Sonic 06 and Sonic and the Secret Rings, which I didn't really prefer at all. But with Sonic Colors, it was just a nice, fresh restart. Even though the Wisps are in the game, it was just like, who cares? It's a really nice Sonic game, really nice level design, really nice controls. The controls are nice and smooth. So I liked them in Sonic Colors, but it's not something that I was like begging for Sega to use again. So when I heard that they were going to use them again, I was just like, well, I mean, whatever. It's not really something that I want, but it's not something I despise either. And they work well in this game. It's just that I personally prefer it where in like Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2, you went around and like found different items to like put on the characters that would help them in the levels, like the Lightspeed shoes. You'd go and find those in Sonic Adventure, and then you could use them whenever you wanted in any of the levels or the adventure fields, where you're limited to what you can use depending on which Wisp you're using in the game. Like, you can only use it for a limited amount of time. And let's be honest, if you could use any Wisp whenever you wanted, you'd be totally OP and you could just go through every level, no problem. But you kind of can see what I mean, where I kind of preferred what they did in Sonic Adventure and Adventure 2, more so than what they're doing with the power-ups, like the Wisps, if you kind of understand what I'm saying. So, it's not that I don't want to see Wisps again, it's just that I don't want it to be, like, in every Sonic game from here on out. I don't really think it's something that is needed. But nonetheless, it's really fun. Like, you can do really fun things with the Wisp to get through the levels. So I don't mind them at all, but it's not something that I think should make a Sonic game a Sonic game. I will say my favorite zone is probably Tropical Coast. It reminds me a lot of Emerald Coast from Sonic Adventure, so I really, really like that. And I know this is awful, but like a lot of the things in Sonic games that come out, like new Sonic games that come out now, if there are things in the game that remind me of things that are in Sonic Adventure, I get really happy just because I like Sonic Adventure a whole lot. It's my favorite game of all time, so it just naturally makes me really happy to see that. So that's why I relate a lot of things in new Sonic games to Sonic Adventure, just because if I see them in new games, it makes me really happy. I really like it. Frozen Factory is pretty fun. I like the very first act where you start on a snowboard. It kind of brings that like classic Sonic the Hedgehog 3 snowboarding, which I love it when Sonic games have snowboarding. It's just something that, it's kind of like when you played like Sonic Adventure, Sonic Generations, and you go to the casino level, you're like, oh, this is classic Sonic right here. Like, every Sonic game should have a casino level or something like that. Well, it's kind of like the same thing with Sonic snowboarding through a snow level. I just really, really like that. So, I really, really liked that until, I believe it was the third act, where you, like, had to move the snowballs into the holes. That felt so, like, un-Sonic-like. I don't know what it was. I just wanted speed, you know what I mean? But I wasn't crazy about that level at all. But, the snowboarding paid off for that level, so I enjoyed that one a lot, too. So, overall, the gameplay's pretty good. After I, like, figured it out, the gameplay's awesome. Note that I'm only talking about the 3DS version. Yes, I played a little bit of the Wii U version. Personally, a part of the Wii U versions that I played, I like better than the 3DS version, and I've heard some people say don't bother with the 3DS version, go ahead and get the Wii U version, but honestly, like, the 3DS version is worth the play, it's worth the pickup, but of the Wii U one that I have played, I like the gameplay of the Wii U version better. Shut up, dogs! One of the things that I really, 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 really liked about this game is it's kind of the story, actually. More or less, actually, like, the script writing for the story, the things that the character said, I feel like were really, really good. Like, I like the fact that Sonic, as a character, you know, even though he's the main protagonist, he makes mistakes that he needs to fix. Like, you don't usually normally see Sonic making a whole ton of mistakes, where Tails legitimately gets mad at him for. I mean, you see past, like, games where Tails gets annoyed at Sonic, but not really, really, really mad, if you know what I mean. And it was really cool. Like, you can kind of see in this game where Tails is, like, aging. Tails is developing, because you can see not only by how much smarter he's getting, but just how he kind of relates to Sonic more. He's not as much he's not as much like, oh, I'm just gonna follow Sonic around and I'm kind of more or less just gonna agree with what he says and I'm gonna just kind of stay in the background. Like, he has a really big say in this game, which is what I love for Tails. Like, character development, like, it's not huge in Sonic games, but I loved it. I loved seeing it here. It was awesome. As far as the Deadly Six go, they're interesting. I don't want to see them again. I'm sorry, I really just don't care to see the characters again. I really don't. Like, it was good for this game, and I think this game only, but I could care less to see them again. I honestly didn't like any of them as characters. I found most of them really annoying. So I don't really care to see them again. But also the fact that Dr. Eggman and Sonic and Tails have to work together is also really cool. I mean, they've had to work together in minigames before. Let's reflect back to Sonic Adventure 2 when they had to work together. So it's not something that's necessarily uncommon. It's just, I think it's really neat that they did that for this game. Note that Eggman ended up being a douche waffle at the end of the game, but that's okay. We kicked his butt, and that's all good. I mean, we knew he was probably going to do that anyway. But the story was definitely really good. Not so much for, like, the Deadly Six and all that, but mostly for the characters that are developed and for the characters, like, the things they said. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but just, I love the cutscenes a whole lot. They were my favorite part of the game, to be honest. And then there's the special stages. Now, don't get me wrong, like, the special stages are fun, but just annoying. Like, I have to stand up and turn around and look like an idiot in public if I'm playing the game in public. But that's okay, because normally I look weird in public anyway, playing my video games, yelling at them and whatnot. But still, it was just like, if I'm just chilling, laying in bed, like, if I have a broken leg or something, like, what am I gonna have to do? Like, oh, collect 30 orbs, okay, what's going on? What's going on? Oh, Sonic, what are you doing? They were fun and a good idea, but I didn't really care for the motion controls at all, but it was still fun. There was something majorly missing from this game. Okay, I know Amy was in the game, okay? She was in the game for a little bit. And so was Knuckles for even a less amount of time. He didn't say much at all. But I really miss, like, the minor characters coming in. And, like, it's not even like Amy and Knuckles are minor. Like, they're not as minor as characters as, like, you know, maybe Big or Blaze or something, who are even more minor. But, I mean, just, they're focusing a lot on Sonic and Tails, which is nice, and a lot of people actually wanted more of the focus to be on Sonic and Tails, but I still love having minor characters around. Like, I am a huge supporter of games that have, like, loads of characters that I can know, and just love, and just, I like it. So, I hope that if they, like, continue games for Sonic, why would they not continue games for Sonic? But, you know what I mean, like, if they continue more games, I just hope that they put more minor characters in it, and not just Amy, like, you know, like Shadow, Rouge, and, like, all these awesome characters, like, bring them back. Bring them back. I am honestly, like, not reading off a script or, like, anything. These are just, like, my thoughts out of my head from, like, just beating the game. The levels are harder than the bosses are. Like, the bosses at the end of each zone are fairly easy. The final boss, like, Eggman gave me a bit of difficulty, but not as much as he had in past games. So, really, like, the bosses aren't that bad, which is nice, because I hate bosses sometimes. But the levels were definitely harder. Overall, it's not a really hard game, unless you accidentally switch hard mode on, which I accidentally did, because my fiancé beat the game before me. So he turned on hard mode, and I didn't know hard mode was on, even though, like, the whole map changes. I did not notice it, and I just started playing the game. I was like, why is it so much harder now? And then I realized I turned hard mode on, and I was just like, this is not the game for me. I keep messing up my gaming experience. Me, personally, I keep messing it up. But anyway, overall, I really like the game. It's a great game. It's definitely not the best Sonic game I've ever played, that's for sure. But it's definitely something worth picking up, like, especially for the Wii U. I thought the Wii U version was really fun, even though it was, like, I played very little of it. But it's, like, the same storyline for both consoles, like, same cutscenes and everything. So, pick it up. I mean, maybe when it price drops, it's more worth it. I still think it's $40, but if it goes down to, like, 30, 25, 20 bucks, it's definitely worth the pick up if you're a Sonic fan. So that's all I'm really going to say about the game. I'm sorry I have not made a video in a long time. Man, this video probably sucks. Sucks some butt. I bet it does. Anyway, guys, I will talk to y'all later. Thank you for staying faithful to my channel and my videos, and I hope you enjoy to watch more videos as I do them, because I haven't done them in a really long time and I don't even know what I'm talking about, and I don't even know if this is a good video or not, but I'll just find out when people comment, I guess. But yeah, leave your comments. Like, what did you guys think about Sonic Lost World? I thought it was pretty good, as I said. So yeah, see ya. It's probably the worst video I ever did. Oh my goodness.